What's happening? BB3 TV. It's Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We are here. We are now. Real Talk with Dom.
In the house.
Indeed. Introducing my new co-host, Permanent, with Bill Slevin. Bill Slevin will be back here next week with Kayla as well as we interview the Ghost Boy. That's going to be
yes.
Kayla, tell us about yourselves. You were on the Thanksgiving show. Everyone was so friggin' tired and stuff like that. So
we were all in a food coma. It was awesome though. It was good to meet you guys and hang out for a little bit. I'm a paranormal investigator. I've been kind of a solo investigator for about 10 years. So I meat all kinds of new people and learn from them. I teach people things. I'm coming into like mediumship now. So that's a whole other thing in itself, you know, but I don't know. It's just interesting to learn from everybody. That's my sister. There's Olivia on there.
What's happening, Olivia? Love it. So yeah, I decided to make you co-host because you're a strong individual. You have a lot of background, and you've been in the game for a while. So you're just a perfect fit with my show and then BB3 TV as a vendor as well. So welcome aboard.
To be here.
All right. So tonight's guest, we have Troy Meyers on. Actually, this is somebody that you know very well. So with all due, just you speak briefly about Troy for a moment.
Let me tell you about Troy.
Yes.
All right. So Troy, actually, I do paranormal events also, but last winter, probably about this time last year, I had an event and Troy was there and he ended up talking to me. He runs tours in Cincinnati, which is really cool. And I actually have taken tours with his company before and they do a really good job. He's a historian, author, ghost hunter. He's the whole package. I mean, this guy's awesome. So
indeed. So without further ado, let's just bring him in.
Bring him in.
All right. Everybody meet Troy Meyers. What's happening, brother?
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's going on?
Thank you for the introduction, Kayla.
You Appreciate are so welcome.
Indeed. Thank you for being on the show as well. All right, so let's just get right into it. Troy, how'd you start, my friend? You are a paranormal investigator, so start from the bottom.
Well, as far as my paranormal investigating career, it started about 5 years ago. We were doing haunted tours of Over the Rhine, which is a historical neighborhood in Cincinnati, and we were given these ghost tours, and everybody who was given the tours with me was, hey, let's go do an investigation together. Let's really get into this. So a group of us got together. We started doing investigations. We've done Poasttown Elementary. We've done the Ross Opera House down in Cincinnati, Kentucky. I mean, we've been all over the tri-state doing paranormal investigations. So it's been a good ride for the last 5 years, and we just keep on tacking on more stuff, and yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff. I love it.
Thank you. All right, so I noticed in the bio. So what I'm going to do here, I got the banners here. So this is your website. So for anyone, right? I got it all right there.
Yep. TAMyers.com. Yep.
Everybody could go find Troy at this site and buy his books and stuff like that. So let's get into how you started writing. And Kayla, by all means, throw your words in at any time. So any kind of idea you have, just throw it in.
Will do.
Yeah, writing has always been a passion of mine, ever since I was a kid. One of the first stories I ever wrote was in junior high school, and it was a horror. It was totally a horror story, which I didn't realize it at the time. It's about these kids getting lost in the woods, and it won a prize, and I'm like, this is awesome. And then I kind of forgot about it over the years, had a career, family, and stuff. But a few years ago, I said, let me start to write again, and we were doing ghost investigations. I'm like, I love this stuff so much. I need to start writing about ghosts and experiences and, putting it all together. So yeah, that's kind of how everything kind of started in that realm.
So how many books do you have all together, Troy?
2 books. So my first book, Attrition, I published that a few years ago. It's more of a fast-paced thriller, but my new book, The Click House Haunting, is a real horror story. It's got a good good storyline that goes all the way back to the 1950s and kind of collides with the present. But it's a fictional story, but it's based on a true haunted house, the haunted house that I grew up in.
I was actually going to ask you about that. Go ahead. Yeah.
So I always thought that I was in this house, and the name of the house is the Click House because the Click family is the one that built it back in like the turn of the century, and I just always thought I was a paranoid kid, seeing things. But as I grew older, that my parents and my brother and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, that house was totally haunted." So I started kind of remembering some of the stories. I mean, the house. There'd be times where I turn a corner, and there'd be an old woman standing in a hallway, and as just like I'm looking at you guys, she was there, and it would scare the shit out of me. And there was a couple different ghosts, but every ghost that haunted us as children is reflected in the book too, as fictional characters.
Now, how long did you live in that house, Troy?
We lived in there for about 10 years.
Okay.
So a good amount of time.
For a long time.
Yeah, I think we moved in there when I was like 5 and we moved out when I was 15. So yeah, about 10 years, 9-10 years.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and the crazy thing, because we've talked about like spirits that can actually follow you from place to place.
Yeah.
And the ghost that would haunt us in the basement followed us to our new house, which was only like a half mile away. But he followed us down the street, which was, and I had grown out of my, I was a teenager at that point in time. I'm like, this ghost is still scaring the shit out of me every night.
Like putting the blanket over your head. Go away.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I'd walk into a room in this new house, and I walk in the room and every light would blow. Just,
oh my God.
Yeah. And the rooms would get cold. Just like, I'm like, this again, come on. I just moved into a haunted house into another haunted house, but I kind of figured out because of talking to people who've had experiences with spirits traveling with them. I kind of figured out that was the same guy.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah. We got Casey in the house too.
Casey, yeah, he
said,
hey,
Troy and Kayla.
Kayla, are you able to click on the comments, or is that just on me right now?
I think it's only you.
Yeah. All right. So if you see something I don't, just let me know, and I'll throw it right up there.
Okay. Just want to say hi to Casey. He's our little family. So and we got Greg.
She was actually a guest on my show, and she's going to be a guest on Tom Springer's show, I believe, in a few weeks. And then Greg right there says, "Hey, Casey, that's cool." So little camaraderie here, I could see.
We got our people, Troy.
Yeah.
Love it.
We're colliding families now.
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to our next investigation together. It can't come soon enough.
So I got a little bit of notes here for you. On the bio, paranormal tours, investigations, public and privately. Tell us about this. And Kayla, you were with him on some investigations, so tell us about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead, Kayla.
Okay, so Troy is one of the best connections you could have. I mean, he's got really good places from what he does in his tours and the Cincy Ghost guys down there and everything. And so we did the Emory Theater a couple times this year, and we had it for the world's largest ghost hunt, which was really cool. We had a couple technical difficulties, but Troy rocked it. He was like the historian, saved the day, like gave the whole tour of the place. I mean, he's so knowledgeable, so it was great. I mean, and it's always active.
You guys are a part of the world's largest ghost hunt? We
did this year, yeah.
Wow. So I did it a few years back. Maria is like one of my really good friends.
Okay.
You familiar with her? Actually, I believe she lives in Ohio now. Maria.
Yeah, they live in Hamilton, right? So yeah. They're not very far from where I live.
Yeah.
Maybe like 15 miles.
If you guys watched it a few years back, let's say 3 years now, my crew was actually the ones with the really bright lights at like midnight. We were actually filming a TV show on there that night that we would come up with this show called The Haunted Realtor. Never took off. I don't know why, but Maria, that was her house. It was the Hood House. So we did an investigation and filmed it almost like a house hunter show. So that's how we were part of the the world's largest ghost hunt that night. And she's just a great lady. I met her at the Seven Sisters Inn. I actually spent one of my birthdays there. That place was really cool. So I'm pretty. That's pretty awesome. That's a small world that you guys were part of it.
It really is, yeah. Well, Troy, do you want to tell them about your places and your?
Yeah. So the company I represent is American Legacy Tours. Their website's really good, but we don't have too many investigations going on right now. But during Halloween season, we are in the Emory Theater every Friday and Saturday night doing public and private investigations. But the Emory Theater is a really cool 1900s theater that's been abandoned for the last 20 something years. It's got rats, it's got all sorts of fun stuff, but it's very active. And I love calling that place. That's kind of my home base. I'm kind of like the caretaker there. So I run all the tours out of that place, and I've spent hundreds of hours in there. And I've almost gotten to the point where I'm just kind of familiar with the ghosts in there, so they don't even scare me anymore.
It's your home away from home almost. You can tell he's got such a connection.
Yeah, I say hi to the ghosts when I go in the Emory Theater.
When's the last time you went in?
I was there 3 weeks ago. That was the last time I went in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to think. Last time I'd seen you was Halloween, right? Is that when your book came out? Halloween. Yep. Man,
that's awesome.
We got to reconnect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Olivia, Casey, Greg, they were all there for the ghost hunt, world's largest ghost hunt there with me and Troy. So,
yeah.
How many people you guys involve?
Huh?
How many people you guys involve on your investigations?
We have our core group, which is about 10 other people. Me, Casey, and Olivia are pretty much like the initial, I guess, little 3, but we have Troy, who's our distant cousin or whatever.
Right, I'm the older uncle.
But whenever we can work with him, we work with him, and we just kind of like collab with the teams and stuff all over. I mean, we all have our own stuff too. So like Casey lives in Michigan, Olivia lives in Indiana, I live in Ohio. So we try to run things, best we can from where we're at.
Yeah. Interesting. And does everyone have their own job to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Olivia is kind of like the overseer of everything. I think the one phrase I use the most, remind me. Everywhere we go, she's got a checklist of stuff for me.
Yeah.
She's the party planner, our event coordinator, our in charge lady, the mom, I guess. Casey, he's kind of like the apprentice this year. I met him at Eloise in Michigan last November. So kind of took him under our wing, and we're showing him the ways.
Okay. See, the reason I asked too, because with Boo Hunters, we only go in with 4.
Okay.
So everyone's alone, and no, there's no anyone talking over each other and stuff like that. Yeah. So that was curious about how many people you guys bring in. I've seen teams with 40 people in there. I'm like, how do you even get this done?
Oh, no. Oh, so what I'm telling you, when we have a lot of people, those are for events, when we do events, because I try to put together affordable events so everyone has the opportunity to experience something paranormal, to be able to experience it for themselves without having to pay $150.
And that's the public coming in, right? To actually
a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
We have kids, we have a lot of stuff. I mean, it's full spectrum. It's great. So
now when I do my own, when we go investigate, just as our team, it's usually less than 10. Usually we'll bring on one other team or a couple or somebody else just to kind of help the cost out. But usually we're under 10 people for our full setup equipment, IR stuff down hallways, all that stuff. Because it gets 20 people on public investigations like we host. It gets to be a lot sometimes, but
it does.
But but it does help
ultimately,
split the cost up.
10's a great number. 10's a great number to have, I think.
10 good experienced people too.
Yeah.
What's your crowd like? Do you have the skeptics come in that try to debunk everything, or do you have just people that open-minded that just kind of are curious?
on our tours, the tours that we give, which are a little bit different than investigations where we just tell them about spirits, and we do like a 5-minute ghost hunt, which is, you can't even get anything from that. But those
Right.
people are usually the skeptical people. But then afterwards we say, well, if you want to get, if you want to get more into this, you want to learn about, paranormal investigations, then sign up for one of our private or public events. And, we walk people through. Yeah, we have a lot of amateurs, a lot of first timers, but usually when they get to that part where they, sign up for a ghost hunt, they believe in something.
Jason Snyder in the house.
That's what's up. Yeah, for sure.
That's our guy right there. He's awesome.
All right. So basics for equipment. What is everyone's go-to here?
The millimeter with the REM or the SB7 for sure. Spirit box.
I'm a
Those
low
are my
tech
two
guy.
that I do real well with.
I get the K2 meters. I mean, I love them.
Yeah, those are good too. I mean, you can have a lot of really good, how they connect with what you're trying to say. I've had them go with the music before and stuff, light all the way up, like when a song's, I'm like.
Hey, we saw one night when we were in the Emery, we had a K2 meter sitting on the floor, and we saw this shadow move over the K2 meter, and as it did, it lit all the way up. It was probably one of the coolest things I ever saw.
Where was it at? Like back by
it
the
was
stage
in the back, in one of the dressing rooms in the back.
Okay.
On the main dressing room where we meet our resident spirit Jessica there.
Yes.
Yep.
Jessica,
you guys ever go back to basics? Huh? You ever go back to basics from original ghost hunting skills as far as bells on cabinets, powder on the floor, things like that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like even like the compass and stuff instead of like like a K2 or something like that. I mean, strings, everything, booby traps, all the weird stuff. Just to, like I said, I've always done
toys
solo.
a lot.
Cat toys.
Yeah, cat toys are kind of
the
new bells. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. All right, so on the investigations, when you guys first started to now, do you have any regrets or something that you wish you did different?
So many regrets.
Like with teams and stuff like that, like things like that.
Yeah, I've worked with teams before where it's like we're not on a TV show, and you don't have to be that dramatic, but because I'm pretty low key. I mean, I like sitting in a room for 20-30 minutes and just staring at a wall, but you get some people who are just so gung-ho, they just want to run around. I'm like, stop running around the theater. It's not, or wherever we're investigating, it's like that's not how you capture a paranormal experience, is by running around. You get some of those people who are just, they watch too many of the shows.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Your body's your best tool, like really just sit in a dark room, turn the lights off, just sit there, and like just let your senses take over. And you're going to get a lot. I mean, you don't have like the same as you would have. Like the reason I use a lot of things like the Kate or the Mel and stuff like that, the flashlight, is because people are like visual. They want to see things light up. They want to hear things go off, like especially when I'm doing live, But really, like how you said, like just sitting there and like just enjoying it is how you're going to get some really good experiences. You're hearing stuff, seeing stuff. I mean,
right. A lot of people, they're so busy, trying to look for something. They also forget to trust their senses, like, a brush up against the back of your neck, or, that the cold chill that comes over your body. They forget about all that stuff too. I'm like, everybody just calm down a little bit. Let's take in the surroundings.
You can always tell the ones who are TV trained,
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let me show you the behind the scenes stuff. You're like, what? You've done like 2 investigations in your life. What are you?
I know, it's so funny. They're like celebrities in their own mind, and they kind of ruin your entire investigation.
Yeah.
The best advice is just sit and listen, like you guys are speaking. I mean, that's really what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, we let our equipment do the work and let our bodies feel it, and we go to the spots that we know. Because a lot of people go into ghost hunts too. It is. I mean, a lot of people go into this shit too, where it's like they think they're going to catch a ghost immediately. You might not catch one for a week or anything. No. You might come out with nothing after 24 hours of sitting in a building.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't happen that way. You guys ever dabble with the scry mirror, stuff like that?
Yeah, I do some scrying. I have a ball and a mirror that I use.
Okay, that's one of our big. We do that.
No,
No,
He's like,
I can't. No, I mean, I guess I'd be open to kind of learn more about it, but I don't know. I'm
it's
afraid
just
of
one of
what
those like.
sometimes I'm afraid of what I'm going to see.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. You don't know what you're gonna see, you know. But
Yeah.
it takes time. It takes a lot of practice. It's like really weird when you do start seeing stuff because then you're like, okay, you know, looking around like I just saw you coming up or whatever behind me. So
I've seen some really beautiful shit in a scry mirror. I mean, who knows if it was good or not, but I mean, it comes in the presence of like beauty. I mean, it almost sounds crazy speaking about it, like without me actually saying what we all did that night and stuff like that, you know. But yeah, it was a gorgeous sight. I really enjoy the scry mirror myself.
Mhm.
So what do you guys got coming up as far as any more investigations tours going into the summertime after this winter's over?
I'm putting together my calendar right now. It's like,
Are you?
So far I have, well, one pending, but two other ones on the books for, we're going up to, we're finally going to make it up to Mansfield this year. And so I'm kind of excited about that. The only bad thing is there are going to be quite a few people in the group, but it's a huge place. So I think we'll be fine. But we did get word that the construction for the Emory Theater, so they're going to renovate the whole place to make it the children's theater again. And that's been delayed by 1 year because of pandemic stuff. So we actually have access to the theater for 1 more year. So that should be pretty exciting stuff. So we're going to start booking.
Back.
Right, we're going to start booking that. And we also have another place we investigate called the Newport Syndicate. It's an old speakeasy casino over just across the river in Kentucky, and so we're hoping to get back there. They said February, so we're hoping to get back there in February.
Yeah, that's one, Troy. Like I was telling someone about that the other day. Like that's one we got to try to get into that.
Yeah, that place is absolutely insane. It is the most haunted place I've ever been.
Yeah.
No kidding.
So Newport was, I mean, that was like Vegas before Vegas, right?
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And there's poltergeist activity going on in that place too. It's crazy.
It's got it passed.
Yeah.
That's intense. So what was is that a place that you said you got the most compelling evidence in the career of your investigations?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Syndicate. That there was we were down in the basement. So the basement was where the casino was. And we were down there. We were actually playing cards because we're like, hey, let's start with some trigger stuff. We had some poker chips out, and we actually got an original poker chip from the casino from back in the 60s, and we tied it to a sensory device. If anything touched it, the EMF readers would go off, and so we're just sitting and playing cards, and all of a sudden this thing just starts going off, and we couldn't stop it. Things were moving around the room, lights were flashing. We were getting all sorts of stuff. I mean, it was. I'd never been really scared during investigations, and that it started to freak me out a little bit, especially when the lights started going off and on.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Kind of like a real time moment right there. Troy, you do have a question here. Troy, you ever do St. Francis? That's from Greg Roderer. I want to say his name is. I'm sorry if I butchered your last name. Yeah.
Is that the cathedral?
I've never done St. Francis in Cincinnati. I assume that's in Cincinnati. That'd be kind of a cool place to do.
Yeah.
Well, Greg, throw some information about it up there, and we'll get it over.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So is there like a dream? He says it's a hospital.
Right, St. Francis Hospital.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
There's our good.
There is an old hospital in Price Hill. And I forget what the name of it is, but we went in there one night, and it was an old tuberculosis hospital. Yeah, I think that was the one that we went into. I'll find out some more information about it, but we got in there because a friend of ours they have a theater in there, and they were doing a play, and she said, "We'll come after our practice, and we can wander around this old hospital and pull out the K2 meters and do some EMF and stuff." So we went down in the basement. They actually have old tunnels that connected the different hospitals So we found these old tunnels, and we're just wondering. And there's old wheelchairs down there. I mean, there's rats that's dripping water. It's like something out of the Goonies. I mean, it was fucking
Yes.
awesome. And so we're just down there, just wandering around under this. And apparently next door there's a potter's field, a Civil War potter's field.
Okay.
So yeah, a bunch of unknown soldiers and people who died from infection at the hospital and tuberculosis and everything else. Or, apparently they say something around 2,000 people are buried in that potter's field. So it's a really cool spot. We'll have to figure out how to. It's owned by the city of Cincinnati, so they don't like anybody doing anything. But we just happen to know somebody. But we'll try to figure out that again, make that happen.
That's awesome. Absolutely. Ashley has a question here for me. Dominic Sanitario, are you and Craig still going to do the historical house here? Yes, we are. Craig and I are actually the grave guys on the TikTok. We are the ones that clean the graves. He's actually my partner in Boo Hunters. So when I say our group is very small, it's technically Craig and I, Ashley, and she'll come in and do her thing as well. And then we'll just drag somebody else along, whether it's a PA or somebody willing to learn poppet of some source. So yeah, yep. So that's the grave guys. We are definitely doing that. That will be, I believe, a bed and breakfast. I said bread, a bed and breakfast. And we will investigate that house. Somebody has died there, so we will put all that up on the Boo Hunter site here soon. Now, Troy, when you guys do investigations as well, too, you said you had a YouTube. Do you post all that there so people could see what you guys have done, or how do people see your work?
I post some stuff. I'm not as active on it as I should be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we are. So our website is Cincy with a Y, Ghost Guys. That's what we do all of our investigations through. So it's actually just myself and my son-in-law. So there's two guys.
Okay.
But yeah, so we go out. My son-in-law, he's older. He's like, I know I'm not that old, but he's in his 30s. My daughter married an older man. But yeah, it's that's what we've been doing. We've been doing it since day one. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All right. So Kayla, tomorrow within the BB3 website, go in there and post that for him. And we're going to talk about making him a host here as well too. But yeah, we'll post it in there. So anyone who's watching tonight, go into BB3 TV so you can check out Troy's work and click on his links. Give him a like, share, follow, subscribe. Whatever's needed to support. Also go to tameyers.com. You could check out his books and check out some of his work. He's a very stand-up gentleman, and I believe your content for who watches is going to be great, and for anyone as well. So we had discussed a little bit. We're going to go recap a little while here. We're going to do about another, what do you guys say, about 15, 20 minutes? Okay. And really make this a strong end for you. So we want to recap about you becoming an author, Troy.
Yeah.
This is important because we want people to read your work. So get back into that subject.
So becoming an author was something that always dreamt of. So I had my own business for 12 years. I ran a restaurant for 12 years, and when that didn't last through the pandemic, I'm like, let me take up this hobby again and see where it goes. And the ClickHouse Haunting is actually my third book. My first book was total garbage, so I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna publish that.
So you don't even count the first one?
No, I don't count. Well, not So, so then Attrition was my second book, and then the third book is the ClickHouse Haunting. So there it is.
Yes, there it is, guys. So check that out.
And if you ground yourself from buying more books like I do, because I'm like out of room, Troy, it's available on Kindle also, isn't it?
Yep, Kindle.
In a digital form.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We're going to keep that up here too. So if anyone's just wondering what the books are, Olivia had put that up there, Attrition and the ClickHouse. And she's asking if it's on Amazon, but Kayla had just said Kindle. So everyone go and at least Google it and then find it and get yourself a copy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need it.
Indeed.
And especially for ghost hunters, it's like one of those books where a lot of the ghost stuff that goes on in there is something, a lot of stuff that we've experienced. So it's you'll say, oh yeah, that's happened to me. Yeah.
Oh, especially if you like live now or grew up in a haunted house, like just to have those connections, like And that might stir stuff up with other people too, you know.
Indeed.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot. I used to have that door that would open all the time too, you know, like get really freaked out.
Now let me ask you a question too. When I did my the two books I did, mine, of course, I told you earlier, was poetry. So I wanted to make mine more into music in time. Have you ever thought about your books becoming a feature film in the future?
Oh yeah,
Or putting it
absolutely.
out there? Yeah.
I already got it. Already got it figured out in my mind exactly how I'm gonna do it.
That's
Very cool.
awesome.
Yeah. So just start sending it to people to make movies out of. Now,
That's
I
great.
think it would be kind of the Clickhouse Haunting. I think would be a good Jordan Peele movie, because I like his other. I mean, I like, you know, Us and the other movies he's
Yeah,
had.
he has a good style.
Yeah, I think it would be perfect for that. So, and he did Lovecraft Country too, which was, after I read Lovecraft Country, I kind of figured out the kind of the construct of the Clickhouse Haunting.
That's awesome. Olivia's got a lot of support for you, my friend. And
I
that's
know
your
she's bought both books. Yeah,
That's
thanks,
cool.
Olivia.
That's our family here.
Love it.
What are the books about? So Clickhouse was about your past experiences, right?
So the Clickhouse Haunting is a fictional story about a real haunted house. It takes place in modern times. It's in a fictional place called Lake Warren, which is very similar to where I grew up. Turn of century house. Somehow these four siblings get stuck there for the summer by themselves, and they have to unravel different mysteries and clues that ghosts give them to solve a murder. And that's the only way that they can the book kind of comes to a really cool ending with a storyline that started from the 1950s to a modern story.
Really cool.
There you go.
Which one is Attrition? What's that one about?
So Attrition's about a guy who starts go down the wrong path, and him just trying to straighten out all of his mistakes at the end. It's all about his struggles. There's some paranormal stuff in there too about him seeing his dead mother. We put in Spring Grove Cemetery kind of as the background to some of those scenes.
Okay.
So Dom, and Spring Grove Cemetery is like this awesome place you would love. It's huge, mausoleums and old headstones, Civil War times and before. But you would like that. You would like that cemetery a lot. So some of the stuff happens in the cemetery, but most of it happens in the over the Rhine neighborhood of Cincinnati. It's kind of fast paced, more of a thriller, but still has all those paranormal ingredients in there.
Okay, cool. Sounds like some spiritual kind of stuff too.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. Yeah, having to deal with spiritual stuff.
Sounds interesting.
So when I get you guys here, we got to do an investigation together. I got to get you guys part of Boo Hunters for something.
Yeah, you got to come here too because we got some stuff for you. But me and Troy are totally cool with going down to Florida right now. I mean, just throwing that out. I'm speaking for Troy because it's done nothing
nice and warm.
Rain all week and be cold. So
it's like 70 something here, maybe 80. I don't even know, but it's like summertime still.
That must be nice.
Are you guys going to the Gettysburg Bash this year?
I'll be there.
Mm-hmm. Did you go?
I'm not going this year. Nope.
No,
not this year.
I'll be there in August.
Okay, I'll see you.
We're actually planning on setting up. Well, I'll probably see you sooner than that, but I mean, we're planning on doing a BB3 TV booth there and possibly doing some live shows as well. I got to figure all that out yet.
Yeah.
Greg said New Orleans. Actually, Greg, I'll tell you something really quick. That's where I practiced a lot of my techniques. I know I learned from a lot of people there. Voodoo, everything. That place is pretty amazing, and I learned when we were walking down the streets. This is something I've never seen before. All their houses were painted different colors, and it was part of like the voodoo practice. You know what that meant? Like, Kayla, are you familiar with the houses being different colors?
Yeah, but tell us what you mean.
It was apparently there to scare spirits away, to like confuse them. And it was the first time I ever heard of that. Yeah, that's what it is. Family vacay, we're going. You know that.
Yeah.
but I learned a lot there. I know, Jason. You got to come visit me soon, brother. Throw back a beer or two. He's actually one of him and I are film school buddies.
Okay.
Jason Whitaker down there. What a fantastic editor. Anything I ever need, he's always there to help. So a lot of support in here tonight. And then this is gonna blow up tomorrow too. It's always like stronger the next day. People do shit and then they come back in and watch, and then it gets shared out like hundreds of times. There's Bill Slevin right there, Kayla. You will meet Bill Slevin. He is the other co-host of Real Talk with Dom. So we're actually going to do the show possibly together, all three of us, with the Ghost Boy next week. That's a big one. And then you and I will run the Grave one, and I'm going to have Kreger with me that night so we could actually talk about the graves and why we do it. Okay. Now, Troy, I want to get back into you. Tell everyone how to get a hold of you again, because we are coming to the end of our times, and you know everything about you, what people need to love about you, my friend.
Sure. Yeah, you can go to my website, tameyers.com. Check me out there. They'll have all the links to the Amazon listings, Kindle, my bio, things I got coming up. Next book's already in the works. So, but check out the Clickhouse Haunting, especially this crowd. I think you guys would really love it.
Awesome.
Definitely. Everyone that's read it has left good reviews, so I don't think anybody is going to be disappointed at all.
There you go. And we're going to flood the BB3 tomorrow with your book. So we'll definitely help push you out there. And get you going. I was actually going to ask you to read a couple of verses of it, but since I have more plans for you in the future, as far as you possibly hosting an author show, I'm going to save that for your own content. And
I appreciate that.
Another time. Absolutely.
Good idea.
For sure. At this point, Kayla, let everyone know how to get a hold of you and what you do.
Like I said, I'm a paranormal investigator as well. Me and Troy have worked together. Troy and I, sorry, long day. But mostly reached on Facebook. That's like my main platform. So I use Facebook under my personal page and under Dayton Haunted Explorers, which is my entity. Also, you see the hashtag DHE fam. That is all of my people that travel with us and do the events with us and everything like that. So, YouTube should be back up and running here soon. I got 5,000 years of video to get through. This is 2 years right here that I am behind. And Troy knows I'm going every weekend, so it's going to be a lot of fun to do. But
who goes through all the footage of all your investigations? I personally do not. I don't have the patience for it. You do it.
I can't. I'm like, I see it in my head what I want it to be,
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I got to get through. And I have the ear. I have the trained ear. And I feel like a lot of people, I'm scared they'll miss stuff,
Right.
I got the vision. I got the ear. I got to do it. I'm a control freak,
We were going through footage last night, and we heard shit that we didn't even hear before. I mean, it was odd.
You know what? I have stuff. You go back like 5-6 years ago stuff, like when I did like Waverly Hills and stuff. I went through my pictures even, and I was just catching all this stuff in the pictures clear as day. I'm like, how did I not see that? Like because you're tired and stuff, when you look at, you're like 4 o'clock in the morning, like, oh man, like.
Bob said he goes through his stuff 2 or 3 times. Bob's actually a really big supporter of this show and many shows. So you guys,
that's awesome.
Get a hold of him sometime too. He likes, shares, and follows everything we do. What a great support. Great guy Bob is. Bob, and I want to say this live again, as I always do. Thank you for being a part of this and always sharing everyone's show.
Does he have any other page, or is it just?
I'll share it up there tomorrow, and I'll get it right to you.
Okay, that's awesome.
And Ashley said, she was with us when we heard all that shit last night when we went back through our audio that we caught at a cemetery that we did. So we were like, what the hell was that? Where'd that come from?
Yeah. And let me just ask you guys. This is a weird question, but what do you think about? I feel like things can be added or removed after the investigation by spirits, like on a recorder or on video. What do you think about that? Like, have you ever experienced?
I've never thought about it. Actually, that's a great question.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never thought about it either.
I swear, I mean, there's no way to really validate it, but I swear I've been places and I've caught pictures or I've caught on EVP, and then I get home, it's gone. You know,
we may have come across some stuff like that. The way I thought you were getting in there, because it kind of hit home last night, was when we didn't hear something and maybe it was added in later on. So you kind of blew my mind there for a moment. Now, as far as the footage being gone and deleted, I think we've ran into that before. I mean, we've been doing this a long time, but I'm probably sure we've ran into something like that. But as far as being added in, last night was the first time that would have happened, if that's a possibility.
Yeah, because I swear that happens. I swear it does. I mean, I'll tell you one good example of that was when I did the Licking County Jail, and not very many people have experienced the crawler, but I did. I had the luxury of experiencing that. It was horrifying. But it's like a torso up, and I'm just hearing like this, like boom, and then like whoosh, dragging. And I was down on the cells by myself, and I had a camera sitting on the bunk, like pointed out in the hallway. So you can see me against the wall, and I'm like, oh my God, after I experience the whole thing, I see it. It's like dragging its body. And I'm like, that's on video. Oh my God. That's like the bombshell capture of a lifetime. Like I got that, And I got home, and my camera, like when I plugged it in, the camera is sitting on the bed, on the thing like this. And it's just like,
no kidding.
Yeah. So it pointed away from it. I'm like, if they don't want to be seen or heard, they're going to make sure that it doesn't happen, So
now,
I was going with that. But
I got a random thing, because I kind of read I definitely read your bio earlier. Now you deal with like Bigfoots and stuff like that, like urban legends as well. I wanted to bring you guys research all that as well.
You do cryptid stuff, Troy?
Not too much. More like urban legend, like true crime stuff.
Yeah,
I love doing that. Yeah, like finding out like about George Remus getting away with murdering his own wife and stuff. That kind of stuff. So those are kind of urban legends I like.
Okay, that's cool. I have some ideas I've been wanting to do for like years now, and I'm like, I have a great name for it and a great like concept of a show that I'd like to put out and do, like just with different investigators around Halloween, and we just go around and we do all the crybaby bridges and like all the, you know what I mean? Let's just test it out.
What are 3 cryptids you're fascinated with that you would love to experience?
Me?
Both of you.
Or Troy?
Both.
That I'd like to experience? None, but
right? Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Like maybe the Loch Ness monster from the shore or something.
The Loch Ness monster is honestly really cool to me. So yeah, that could be one.
But I don't think I'd want to meet Bigfoot, in the woods.
Yeah, or like skinwalkers or something like that. Like
I'm fascinated with a skinwalker. Fascinated with the skinwalkers. I'm fascinated with the black-eyed children. I'm fascinated with hellhounds.
Now, what do you think people like manifest this out of their, that
I believe it's highly possible. Greg said the Mothman. That's another one, my friend.
Mothman, yeah, Mothman's really cool.
Mm-hmm. I believe it can be manifested. I do.
Yeah, when you get enough people thinking about it, it like gives it power. It's the same thing when you're on an investigation. You're dealing with certain types of entities. It's like, okay, we don't want that around here, so we're going to shut it down immediately. Like we're not going that direction right now. So
I've been around people that don't want you to say skinwalker 3 times like in a row, because they absolutely freak out. I've seen them leave land and stuff here, like honestly, and they absolutely freak out. Yeah. So like I'm 100% like, into that. Yeah,
cool. Olivia experienced a black-eyed child. It was at a residential.
Really?
Well, that's interesting.
Olivia, I would love to have you on a show for like a 15-minute segment talking about this, because I'm going to be switching up the show with Kay a little bit. We're going to be bringing in people who actually had haunted experience and run-ins with cryptids, and we're going to let them come on and tell their story. Kind of like a parapanel.
Yeah, that's cool. The Red Devil. Yeah. Okay.
No, it's the Jersey Devil.
Oh, sorry. Jersey Devil. Yeah, I've heard of that.
My mom.
That's what I was thinking in my head, and then I was reading
it wrong. The Red Devil. Oh my God.
Red Devil.
All right. That was an accident, everyone.
Well, we have Greg who believes in ski walkers.
Ski
So
walkers. Okay. America's no. Okay.
we all need to go to bed.
It's all good. All right. Kayla, tell him about my back.
Olivia said she's a background person. She don't want to be.
Okay.
But here's the thing. She helps me run all this stuff. She's like does it all, And then she's like, okay, but you run everything. And I'm like, but I have anxiety. Like, can you do it?
Yeah. You have anxiety. I suffer from that myself. And I sometimes
Very
blame
bad,
that on a
yes.
little bit of paranormal as well, especially with
Yeah.
sleep paralysis and stuff and all that. Like I kind of research a little bit what is what it is. He could be
Yeah,
red, Bob.
yeah.
He could be red. But all
He
right.
could
So I
be
know
red.
he
Bob
he
saved the
could be
day.
red. But all right. So Troy, at this time, I want to tell you thank you for being on BB3 TV, and we are definitely going to see your face a lot more. We're going to sit down and talk about you having your own author show because that's what you do, and you're very professional in how you conduct yourself, and I appreciate.
You're good
that.
at what you do.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Indeed. And Kayla, like, here we are again. Welcome aboard. This is your actual first show co-hosting with me.
Thank you.
And there'll be many more from here. We got a lot of guests coming up. I got to get you scheduled up.
Yeah.
I got to show you everyone who's coming on, and
Looking forward to it.
we'll make this happen. So from BB3 tonight, like, share, follow, subscribe, and most importantly, enjoy everyone's show. Everyone, have a great night from BB3 TV.
Much love.
Indeed.
Good night.